Bold changes, breakthroughs, and new chapters of life are the theme as we are coming into the first week of spring, the first week of Aries season. We are officially in the Astrological New Year, and we are at the threshold of a new moon solar eclipse happening on March 29th. In this video, we're going to talk about all these things and what it means for you. So let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome back, friends. This is Carrie Konyha at holisticspsychic.com and Soul Star Healing Art Center in Sedona, Arizona. If you're new to my channel here, I'm a professional psychic reader here in Sedona, as well as a shamanic energy healing practitioner and astrologer who loves informing and guiding you into your highest and best potential through the tools of astrology and intuitive guidance. Today, we're taking a look at the astrological energies that are leading us up to the first solar eclipse of the year, which we're certainly going to get to. But before we do that, I want to just do a little recap and a little overview of the energies that are leading us up to this eclipse that happens on March 29th. First, just a reminder that we have Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. We're deep in the mix of those retrograde energies right now. And so on one level, it's a time of deep reflection. Now, let me bridge this together with this overall theme that we have going on in the next few weeks here. So we've had a lot of planets in Pisces over the past few years, actually. Pisces, being the last sign of the zodiac, is connected to endings. And some of these planets that have longer cycles, that have collective influences on humanity, are moving into Aries right now. In fact, the reason I'm bringing this up now is because the Mercury retrograde and the Venus retrograde that we have going on right now are moving back and forth between Aries and Pisces as they are going through their retrograde. They both are in Aries right now, but they both retrograde back into Pisces before moving forward again into Aries. So this is the time of deep reflection. I'm going to go ahead and give you the dates here. Venus goes into Pisces retrograde on the 27th of March, just 2 days before that solar eclipse. And then Mercury goes into Pisces on the day of the eclipse. Mercury has to do with our mind, so reflection, mentally speaking. Venus is the planet of love, so it's heart reflections. This is definitely more of a time, especially as we are leading up to that eclipse. This is a time of giving yourself some space for self-reflection of ideas in matters of love, matters of peace, harmony, beauty. This is not the time to make life-altering, path-altering, concrete decisions. It's more of a time of reflecting upon what is working for you, what's not working for you, and what changes you may feel compelled to make as we're moving into this new moon solar eclipse, because this eclipse is going to be all about new beginnings. In fact, it's bold, brave, courageous new beginnings, as you'll see as we're coming into this. So just know we're still in the midst of those retrogrades. Now, Venus will go direct on April 2nd, and Mercury goes direct on April 7th. And then we typically have what's called a shadow period that lasts several weeks. That shadow period is the time it takes for that planet to come back to the position it was originally in before it went retrograde. So the next few weeks really is a time of contemplation, self-reflection, in regard to any changes you might want to make. We officially entered Aries season, the spring equinox, and the astrological new year, all on March 20th. So this is a big Aries energy that's happening right now. Aries energy illuminates and activates leadership, independence, bravery, self-initiative, determination. It gives us the courage to take leaps of faith, take risks. Now, on the shadow side, the things that we need to be aware of during this time would be guarding against impulsiveness, guarding against being rash, greedy, self-centered, and uncooperative. These are connected to the shadow side of Aries. And these energies likely may be coming into your awareness as we have Mercury and Venus in retrograde. These are some of the themes that are connected to what we're reflecting upon, because up until the 27th and the 29th, both of these planets are in Aries. So just pay attention to how have I been aware of my own shadow tendencies to make decisions impulsively or rashly? Where have I maybe been a little bit self-centered and unwilling to be cooperative? So in the realm of healing, likely these are topics that are coming up, especially if you have strong Aries in your chart. Do you have strong Aries in your chart? Let me know in the comments below. Strong Aries could be if you're Aries sun sign, Aries moon, Aries rising sign. If you have more than 3 planets or what would be considered a stellium in Aries, you are going to be extra impacted by these energies that are coming up. You're also going to be feeling this if you have a strong Libra energy in your chart, which is the sign that is opposite of Aries, or if you have a lot of planets in Cancer or Capricorn, because these two signs are squaring all of these energies that are showing up in Aries right now. With all of the Aries emphasis that is showing up right now and continues to show up over the next few months as Neptune moves into Aries, and then in May we have Saturn moving into Aries, this is a big opportunity for all of us collectively to really reclaim and step into our self-leadership. It's renewing our sense of commitment in regard to our life path choosings, our drives, and our ambitions. The astrological weather or energies that are showing up right now are extra important in the way that the energies that are connected to the spring equinox, because the spring equinox is considered to be the astrological new year, these energies are setting the tone, not only for the next few weeks or the next few months, but actually for the duration of 2025 and even into the winter of 2026. So this whole year, the astrology that's going on right now really is the most impactful, significantly shifting energy that will have a lasting influence on all of us collectively for this next year. And again, these themes are bold changes, breakthroughs, new cycles of experience, new chapters opening up in our life, stepping into our leadership and renewing our commitment to our life path. How has all of this been showing up for you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have questions about any of these things that I'm talking about, feel free to post your questions and I'll shed whatever light on them that I can. I'm happy to do that for you. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the eclipse energies in a moment, but first a few little side notes here. We have Juno, which is the asteroid that is connected to relationships, our sense of commitment and fidelity. It goes retrograde on March 19th, and it goes retrograde in Sagittarius. It's going to be retrograde for approximately 3 months. And so this brings us into introspection regarding where we are at with ourselves in relationship, but I would say really our relationship with ourself and what we desire to share and interact with or have energetic exchanges with regarding partnerships. So this is aligned with the Venus that we have retrograde. Also, when Venus is retrograde, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, it's more of a time of self-love and healing. Healing matters that are connected to maybe where there has been a lack of self-love. It's not the best time to focus on relationships. Definitely not the best time to initiate commitments in relationships. It's a time where things of our past can come up for deeper awareness and healing. Regarding relationships with Venus retrograde, that Mercury retrograde can give us sort of like a heart-mind coherence energy as we're willing to be doing some of this introspection and self-reflection work. Retrogrades are always about reflection, introspection. So we also have the asteroid Vesta moving retrograde into Scorpio on March 21st. Vesta is the asteroid that is connected to our inner flame, our inner fire. It's connected to what ignites our soul. It's connected to our sense of our commitment to ourself, balancing ambitions with our deep desires. So you can see how right now there's a big overarching collective theme that is about reconsidering what's really working for me, what's not working for me, not only in regard to your life path forward, but in regard to your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with others. What's working, what's not working, what you would like to empower in your self-relationship and your relationships with others as well. Now is the time for consideration along these lines. So we have a North Node, new moon, solar eclipse happening in the sign of Aries on March 29th, and it's at 9 degrees of Aries. I'm going to talk about that part in a moment. So this is yet another activation of bold changes, breakthroughs, stepping into new cycles of life, new chapters of life. It's that next wave of activation of all of this activation that we just had as we shifted into Aries season, spring equinox, astrological new year, all these things I mentioned earlier: independence, bravery, initiative, courageousness, leadership. These are the things that are also being activated with this new moon solar eclipse. The lunar eclipse that we had on March 13th, 14th at 23 degrees of Virgo is a south node eclipse and is more geared towards releasing, clearing, letting go, surrendering. Surrendering, letting go, releasing anything that is not aligned with you stepping more fully into your sacred work, because Virgo is a lot about the theme or the archetype of your sacred work. Now, your sacred work does not necessarily mean your job as far as the work that you do, the 9-to-5 work that you do. Your sacred work is that inner sense of compelling that you feel called to share with life, with everything that you do. So anything that has been obstructing or hindering, shrouding or clouding, that is what's being cleared away. And I want to just remind us all and emphasize that when we have these eclipses, it's not like, boom, okay, this is all happening in one day. There's a 6-month rollout of the energies that happens from one eclipse, what we call a season, to a next eclipse season. A season is when we have a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse back to back. We typically have 2 of those per year. So this is the first solar eclipse of the year. And in Aries, being the first sign of the zodiac, is a lot about new beginnings. This is even further impacted by the fact that the day after the eclipse, Neptune moves into Aries. It's been in Pisces since 2011, which is quite a long time. So what I want you guys to do is take a look at the Pisces section of your chart, take a look at the Aries section of your chart, because that's where all of this is happening. But because Neptune is shifting into Aries, collectively all of us in some way are going to be coming into a culmination of a growth cycle that we've been in wherever the Pisces sector of your chart is. And then we're applying what we've learned from that growth cycle into this new Aries cycle that we're coming into. Neptune is going to be in Aries for the next 13 years. Neptune being a planet that is connected to spirituality, the mystical dimensions of life, also creativity. Mars, the planet that represents our inner drive and our warrior nature. When we have Neptune in Aries, it's the archetype of the spiritual warrior. Aries compels us to be in our self-leadership, and then that spiritual warrior theme, self-leadership in connection to what we feel our deeper sense of drive, ambition, and calling is, that fortifies and feeds our spirit, feeds our soul, what gives meaning and purpose to our soul. Now, one thing I want to say here about this is elementally speaking, we have a dominance now of both water, which is all the Pisces energy that's been coming in, and fire, which is that Aries element. What do you get when you mix fire and water? We get steam. So this is insights around alchemy that is happening, transformation. On Earth levels, as we're coming into this next several weeks, Neptune going into Aries, the solar eclipse, we could see heightened volcanic activity and unusual activity with natural spring geysers, okay? Liquid fire, heated steam. The manifestations globally are going to be along those lines. Things being unearthed. And that can be happening within you as well. What's being unearthed? What's being revealed to your awareness? What's being revealed to your soul? Water represents our emotions. Fire represents the light of our spirit. What are you alchemizing emotionally that's renewing your vitality of your soul? What's in a way that's giving you like a renewed inner feeling of exuberance, expansion, drive, motivation? Let me know in the comments below. I do want to mention here that this ingress into Aries that Neptune is doing on March 30th is just a little dip. It is going to retrograde back into Pisces on October 22nd, which it will remain there for the duration of 2025. It ingresses back into Aries on January 26th, 2026. And then fully remains there for the next 13 and a half years. So we are going to have a time as we're integrating these energies. Neptune goes back into Pisces so we can retrieve whatever last little pieces of insights that we need around what we're being liberated from, what we're healing, shadow components, all of that. Let me talk just a little teeny bit about the chart. I mentioned earlier that Saturn is also going to be going into Aries on May 30th. Check to see where your Saturn is in your chart. Some of you, like me, may be having a Saturn return. I'm going to be having my second Saturn return. Saturn return is when the planet Saturn goes back to where it was when you were born, and it is a time basically of soul maturing. So check to see where your Saturn is. The other thing I want to mention about the chart connected to the solar eclipse is that Pluto is making a sextile aspect to many of these planets and points that we're talking about. It's making a sextile to Neptune, Mercury, the moon, Venus on the day of the new moon. So Pluto is the planet of transformation, evolution, and empowerment. So that's further supporting us in having whatever our personal experiences of transformation are. Just tune into what have you had in your awareness that you know that you've been working on clearing, integrating, releasing, letting go. Whatever you're intuitively getting for yourself is going to be what the thing is. And then you can just check your chart to see where the house is for some further information there. There's also a powerful trine aspect. Trines and sextile aspects are harmonious aspects, so oftentimes we don't feel them as much as we feel squares, because squares are more like initiation energies, where I consider the trines and the sextiles to be more like activations of energy. But Uranus is also connected to change. It's connected to innovation. It's a revolutionary energy. And often the energy of change that is connected with Uranus can feel sudden. There can be unexpected, sudden developments. Uranus is making that trine aspect to Pluto, but it is also, just like Pluto, making sextile aspects to these same planets and points that we talked about earlier. Mainly Venus, Neptune, and Mercury. So this is a time where we could have sudden changes of heart, sudden changes of mind, sudden clarities around what our heart truth is, sudden clarities around maybe decisions we've been mulling over and we need to make. And then Mars, still in the mix. Mars is still out of bounds. Mars has been out of bounds for like months now. When Mars is out of bounds, really when any planet is out of bounds, it emphasizes, exaggerates the energies of whatever that planet is. So Mars is direct now, still in Cancer, and soon we'll be going into Leo, where it will be more of a thriving energy. But the energy of Mars right now, which is also connecting to these same planets that I just mentioned, is really compelling us to move on. What do you need to move on from in your life once and for all? You can see where these themes are showing up. But share with us below, how is this showing up for you? What insight do you want or need on all of this? And then lastly, I'm going to talk about the tarot card that is connected to the points on the zodiac wheel that are emphasized now, where all of this activity is happening, which is the last 10 degrees of Pisces, the first 10 degrees of Aries. With the decans, which are taking the 30 degrees of each zodiac sign and dividing them into 3 10-degree segments for like an even more specific insight as to the nature of the energies. So the last 10 degrees of Pisces and the first 10 degrees of Aries, both are connected to the planet Mars, which we just got done talking about here, in really feeling like ready to move forward, moving forward from anything that you've felt held back from. Now in the tarot, I've already talked about in previous videos the minor arcana cards that have to do with these degrees, but I have not mentioned the major arcana card. The major arcana card that has to do with this decan of last 10 degrees of Pisces, first 10 degrees of Aries is the Tower card. The Tower card typically represents a disruption type energy. It can represent an upheaval, a dismantling of energies that are no longer aligned with you or supporting you or the direction that you're going in. But it also brings in the potential for liberation and fresh starts. It's like the clearing away of the old that needs to happen so that a new foundation of growth can be rebuilt. Reflecting upon how that is showing up for you, maybe even doing some journaling about it to help you to get further insight for yourself as to how to best to work with these energies. This reminds me, at the beginning of June, it's going to be the first or second weekend of June. Honestly, I'm waiting for Mercury to go direct to finalize the exact dates, but have it on your radar. I'm going to be offering a weekend immersive training in the art of reading tarot here in Sedona at my healing center. Right before that, at the beginning of May, I am facilitating at the Sedona Yoga Festival, which is May 1st through 3rd or 4th. I'm actually doing a pre-conference empowering intuition immersion as a part of the yoga festival. And then I'll also be doing a guided land journey, at least one of them, if not two, where we go out into the vortexes and do some yoga, do some meditation, and just have a nice Sedona Vortex activation experience. I'm going to put the links below for the Sedona Yoga Festival so that you can sign up for my immersion. And then I'm going to put a link to my website below as well so that you can sign up to get notified as to when the in-person in Sedona, the Art of Reading Tarot weekend immersion is happening at my healing center. I'm going to have many other weekend trainings rolling out over the next few weeks that I'll be teaching throughout the duration of this year. So please do stay tuned if you want information on that. You can always visit my website and just sign up for my email so that you get notifications. I do often offer email subscribers early discounts that are not offered to anyone else other than the people that subscribe to my email. So anyway, all my love, guys, blessings, namaste. I'm going to see you around the corner in the next video.